So, what I have found in my practice is that many times when a client comes in and they are full of blame, that gives me an area to start with. And part of that is to educate them on their own emotional code. It's a lot easier to blame someone else than to take ownership in our own behavior. Many times we cannot change a habit if we're not aware of that behavior. So, in other words, what we need to do is we need to step back and, first of all, be able to identify the fact that we have something going on in our life that causes us to be a blamer. Once we do that, we then can be given tools and strategies to be able to work through our own personal issues and learn to remove the emotional coat, or be able to leave the coat where it belongs, which is somebody else's issue. But what happens many times is we end up either putting someone else's emotional coat on and carrying the burden. If you're a caregiver, if you're a people pleaser, those are the type of people that have many emotional coats on top of their own because we're trying so hard to please other people. Then what happens is that person is so weighed down with all these emotional coats trying to please other people that they've totally lost themselves. So now what we need to do is start peeling off the other coats and setting them aside and figuring out, what is my coat all about? And maybe there's a root cause. Maybe there was a loss at a young age, an abandonment issue, something the psychological that caused a trauma that had caused a person to have the need to be a pleaser, to be a caregiver. Once you figure out what that cause is and identify that you are that type of person, you are who you are. But now we don't have to make that our identity. And if you're tired of being walked on, if you're tired of being a caregiver for everybody else, and you're feeling it's time to step up and take control of your own emotional code, then what we need to do is be able to submit and realize that it's okay and that it's your emotional coat and take ownership in this behavior. That's number one. Then we work through and give you tools to be able to learn how to do it. And then through repetition and consistency forms a new habit. It seems so simple. Does it feel uncomfortable? Yes, it does, because we have a habit of being the type of person that puts on everybody else's coat. So it takes practice. Once we practice this, it becomes a new habit. And guess what? It becomes very freeing that I can control my own zipper and I can remove my own emotional coat. And I can also step back and say, that's not my issue. That's not my coat. I don't need to wear that. And leave it where it belongs. We may want it for someone else, but ultimately they need to be able to recognize and own it themselves. So everybody stay tuned to next time and have a great day. Take care of your emotional coat.